Hello, Lars, can you hear us?
You're muted.
Yes. There we go.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so you can hear us and we can hear you. So far, so good. So, thank you for your patience, Lars. I'll just introduce you quickly and then I'll let you launch into your presentation. So, Lars Bill is chairman of Oseberg Viking Heritage Foundation Norway and project manager for Saga Lundenwic 2025. Based in Tonsberg, the Oseberg Viking Heritage Foundation aims at establishing and operating a recognised centre for Viking Age shipbuilding research and practice, as well as associated crafts, and for communicating Vestfold County's unique Viking heritage. The foundation has a portfolio of Viking ships, one of which, the Saga Farman, is a reconstruction of the Klarstad ship. It's currently undertaking its third long-distance voyage, this time from Rome to London. Lars embarked with his team last month and is joining us from San Remo for his presentation, Follow the Vikings at Full Sail. Let's welcome Lars today. Lars, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have some very different events to talk about because this entire symposium is about events and happenings and how to engage people. And I guess this is a very different way to engage people to involve themselves in the Viking Age. So we call this event Follow the Vikings. It is a voyage with a Viking archaeological reconstruction of Viking ship from Norway, and we are sailing around Europe, and this year is the third year. I'll come back to that. So, as introduced, I'm the project manager for this project, and I'm also a very happy sailor, and sailing with the Viking ship is some of the things that I appreciate the most, for sure. I would like to walk through with you why we do this. Why do we sail this ship on this voyage, and who are the people behind it, and what kind of a ship are we actually using, and give you some feedback on what we have achieved so far when it comes to engagement. There's quite a lot of people engaged in different ways and benefit from what we're doing. One of the reasons we don't want to come home, we just want to sail as long as we can. So first of all, the reason we want to do this is that we want to follow the Vikings. The Vikings traveled the world, and they actually did, make some changes in the world. They put down some marks somewhere. We would like to revisit some of these locations and talk to the people and see if there's still traces of that common heritage that we have with the Vikings. If it's in Italy, Greece, Turkey, wherever the Vikings were, what do they still have together with as a common heritage? And it's not the heritage discussed with professionals, archaeologists, scientists, stuff like that. It with people of the countries, people that meet us on the way, try to spread the word about, okay, we do have some history together. It might have been a little uncomfortable for some at the time, but now we're back and now we're friendly, and we can talk about what impact it made at the time. Also, for the time being, it is time for friendship. There's enough other stuff going on with the world, so traveling around right now, trying to create friendship and do that cross-cultural understanding is absolutely beneficial in the current time. So we are quite a lot of different people. First of all, it's the foundation itself who built these Viking ships. The foundation is just a small foundation. It's all mostly driven by volunteers. But the foundation that owns the ship and take care of the formalities around the ship. The sailors are volunteers. That's Saga Farman Ship Guild, and then we have a planning group consists of me and a few other guys that are planning each year's voyage and trying to make it happen. So the heritage itself is now 20 years old this year. We have built two full-size Viking ships. The first one was an Oseberg ship that most recognized with a very nice curved stem and bow. And we built this one that I'm currently inside. And we are also building now the third one, the Gokster ship, that's even bigger than the two previous ships. And after that, we'll probably build a fourth. We'll see. And we're also building a handicraft center in Tønsberg to promote the heritage from the Viking Age in Vestfold, the part of Norway where we belong. We have also a festival with about 18,000 visitors. It's free. It's for everybody to come. And a small foundation, just 8 employees, but we have more than 400 volunteers, and that's what makes everything go around. We have very small economy, so the effort of the volunteers is what creates the value to the society around us. We have a very, very long and detailed vision, but the main thing about the Oseberg Viking Heritage Foundation is that we want to promote the Viking heritage in Vestfold, that part of Norway we come from, doing that actively by reconstructing and used tools and processes and materials from the Viking Age, creating ships and other finds that have been done, recreate them, use them, show them to people in the public space. So when we're building Viking ships, we're doing it in the middle of the center of the city of Tønsberg, open 24/7, everybody can go in, there's no fees to get in, no tickets, no nothing, you just go there, smell how we build, try an axe if you want to, and be part of it. So this is a snapshot from a few days ago in Tønsberg. So there we've got the Gokstad ship coming up, 10 boats, 10, still 6 to go. There's a picture of how we laid out the keel way back in time. And from the scientists doing the reconstruction in cardboard to make sure that the whole shape and all the drawings are as precise as they can get, based on the material found in the grave of Gokstad. So when we build the ship, we'll build it precisely as the Viking did it, and the ship will be like it was before it was put in the grave 1,000 years ago, giving us the opportunity when sailing to actually feel exactly how that ship behaved 1,000 years ago in the same area, sailing the same waters as the Viking did. It's quite extraordinary. We also have a location, handicraft center in a neighbor city, the same here, close to the water. We bring in the timber, we use volunteers, we teach school classes and all people who want to learn about how the Viking do stuff, and they produce the raw planks and stuff for the Gokstad shipbuilding in Tønsberg, and we of course sail it up there to Tønsberg with Viking ship. So we try to get the entire process as it would have been 1,000 years ago, but of course in a modern shape, because we have to comply to rules and regulations, of course. So this is Tønsberg. This is where we're building the ships. We have got the municipality has invested 3 million euros now for the quay and harboring system, and we are now allowed to build those 2 houses on the picture as a handicraft center for the future. So we are moving up a step from being outdoor all year building Viking ships. We'll in the near future have these nice buildings so we can do show handicraft all through the seasons, even in bad weather. So let's get to the voyage, because this voyage is so complex in so many ways when it comes to engagement. There's so many people involved and in so many different ways. So I think that this way of promoting our heritage, it actually includes quite a lot of people, and a lot of people get benefit from what we are doing. It's quite interesting actually when thinking about it. And thank you for the opportunity to think about it, because I haven't done that kind of thoughts until now when I was asked to present how this event could benefit. First of all, we have the ship guild sailing the ship. It's all volunteers. We are more than 200 members of the ship guild, and they're from all over the world. And every year we are picking up new members from new countries that we have passed through with the ship. people get engaged, say, oh, I want to be a part of this, how can I join in? And we open doors. It's very, very simple to be a part of this voyage. If you have the engagement, if you have social skills, you're welcome. That's all it takes. We'll teach you how to sail the ship, we'll teach you how to be on board the ship together with maybe 12, 15 other peoples for 2 weeks at a time, living closely together. It's quite interesting to see how people with very different cultures come on board and together figures out how to sail the ship and get it from A to B in a safe manner, and like the Vikings did it. Then we got the ship itself, of course. It's quite an important part of the event. It was launched in 2018, but in 2023 it was tested out, and we were ready to start this expedition. And it's set up for expedition. It's set up to ideally handle 12 people on board for a long time at a time. And we started out in 2023. Coming back to the route, and we continued in 24 and now 25, and we are not going to stop soon. The ship itself is not just an archaeological replica of the cloister ship, but is also the most modern Viking ship in the world. Due to rules and regulation, we are required to have engines on board. Because we go through canals and locks and rivers of Europe, and you're not allowed to go in there without having an engine. It's not enough to row, you need to have an engine. So our thought was, way back in time, that now we have built the most amazing stuff that the Vikings could build in the Viking Age, the ship. Let's fill it with technology that is the most amazing that we've got these days, and that would be electrical engines. So we got this ship installed with the bleeding edge technology made for this ship, developed for this ship, based on our idea on how it should work. And that idea has now become this company Sea Drive that are now selling that kind of solutions to tender boats and all sorts of boats around Europe, based on an idea from us Vikings. So it's quite modern, it's quite bleeding edge technology. But that's not the point of this, but it makes sure that we can actually go where we want to go in a safe manner and according to rules and regulations. So this is what we've done so far. We left Tønsberg late April 2023. It was cold and awful, and was almost snowing across down to Denmark. It was +3 degrees. It was not the weather for sailors. We were absolutely alone on the water. Nobody else is out there at that time of year, at least for the leisure ships. And we made all our way in 2023 through Europe on the rivers, canals, and lock systems, everything, all the way down to Istanbul. And that was our main goal for the first year, to get to Miklagard, the big city, to revisit after 1,000 years where the Vikings were working and living for that period. We stayed the winter in Istanbul. The ship was put in a museum, in the Marine Technical Museum in the Golden Horn. Stayed there for a few months before we moved it to a shipyard for maintenance before the next stage of the voyage. So last year we started out in mid-May from Istanbul and made all our way to Rome, or to the harbour of Rome, Civitavecchia, where the ship has been this winter. Not in a museum, but in a marina, and we have done all the maintenance there and prepared for this year's voyage. And this year we're going to Rome. So this is the route for this year, and we are now halfway between Genoa and Nice, or close to Nice actually. We'll be there tomorrow. And we'll make our way through France all the way up to London. And we'll arrive in London in the end of August for some pretty spectacular events coming up in London for sure. So, the main thing here, how does this voyage engage people? And I have twisted mind to walk through all the engagement that we have seen during these 3 years of this voyage. So what we see is that we got quite a lot of sponsors, and they just not involved for their own benefit. They actually are interested in what we're doing. So we actually engage them to understand why we're doing this voyage. We got all the authorities we get in contact with. They all ask questions about the ship. Where does it come from? How's it built? Why do we do this? So we get the opportunity to talk to quite a lot of authorities about the Viking ship, the stability of it, the maneuverability of the Viking ships, and all those things to spread the knowledge about the Viking ship in a modern world, in a modern context. It's quite interesting. We got some very good discussion with modern engineers, ship engineers at authority level, discussing with us the capabilities of the Viking ship. Of course, our home municipality, the administration there, they're following us because we are leaving out of their city. They want us to promote, of course, the municipality we're coming from, and they are really engaged into our voyage. And the county itself, of course, the county has supported us financially, but they are also supporting us with like media response, media input, stuff like that. And we are actually doing a Viking show that we can bring along with the ship to put up in a harbour where local musicians, choirs, and stuff like that can engage and make a Viking show with our Viking ship as a part of the stage. So that's the county has provided us with that opportunity. And of course the population back home. We are on the radio, local radio for the region, for the county, every Wednesday morning to give an update on where we are in Europe, what has happened since last week, what are the most interesting things going on, engaging quite a lot of people back home. And then of course, and not to forget the crew, because even though it's a ship guild, there's a lot of new people coming into the crew from all over the world that has no clue about the Viking ship when they arrive, and they get 14 days of intense learning on how to sail and behave on a Viking ship. So when they get back, they have much more understanding of the Viking ship, and they can talk about it and tell people stories about the Viking ship, how they worked, how they were used, and so on. And then of course we have all the participants to events, because as we go along the route, from time to time we have events. We have company events that uses the ship for product promotion, and we like to have the Viking ship as a stage for that. You have events like when ambassadors or embassies are using the ship to be a part of, telling the Norwegian story out there. And we got, just a few days ago, when all the schools of Andorra, 400 pupils came to the ship in groups of 15 during 2 days to learn about the Vikings and to come on board, to talk to us and to see how we're living and how we're doing stuff on board the ship. So there's a lot of event participants engaging in what we're doing. And then of course all the spectators. Everywhere we start, people are coming to see the ship because we are not like anybody else. So right now where we are in San Remo, we are in the new harbor with all the big yachts, and they're all coming over to have a look at this strange ship that doesn't look like anything else here. And people coming down from the city, walking during the evening and stopping up and have a look at the poster, talking to us. So a lot of people along the route gets engaged. And of course we invite guests all the time. When we meet people in different settings, we bring them on board and we have the opportunity to tell about what we're doing. We also have open ship audiences where people can, we go to newspapers and local radios for the harbors where we are entering, and a day before we come we let them know we are coming and we plan to have an open ship from this time to this time, and everybody's welcome. They can come on board, they can take selfies, they can ask us questions, they can see where we sleep, how we live, and so on. And then of course we have all the audiences on the social media. We are on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, on the website, and all the followers there will get an insight to what we're doing. And we have maybe between 25,000-30,000 followers altogether, asking questions from time to time, getting news update, getting pictures and small videos to see how this voyage progressed and the struggle and the happiness and stuff like that we experienced during the voyage. And then of course all the other medias like newspapers, radios, television, interviews we do, stuff like that. So we really do hit a lot of people doing this voyage. And in my mind, of course, we should do that because it is quite a lot of effort to put into an event. If not, somebody should get something out of it. So for us personally, in the ship, we get, of course, based on the engagement, we get financial support from sponsors and authorities and stuff like that. But we also get a lot of practical help on board along the way. People coming down here with cars and say, oh, you're far away from the nearest grocery store, shall I drive you up there and bring back some groceries? So we get that kind of engagement as well. And we also get people, I have a friend in Germany called Eddie. He called me before we took the first stage in 2023 and said, you don't know my name. I know you're project manager for this voyage and you need my help. You will never ever be able to go through Germany without my help because you don't understand German authorities. And I said, okay, I believe you. So what should I do? And he helped us all the way with all the authority contact with harbors, with the logistics and all these things as a local friend on site. And we couldn't have done it without him. So that kind of help we are also achieving. And then of course, from time to time get free mooring and free meals. Just yesterday evening, the evening before that, we had a free meal with the mayor of Andorra, inviting the entire crew for a nice restaurant to say thank you very much for the visit. And that's really nice, and it helps us because it's not cheap to sail a Viking ship for a long time. And then of course we get gifts in all forms. Of course we get drawings from the children when we get to harbour. They have drawn pictures of Vikings and Viking ships and stuff like that, come to us and give it to us. We get local wine, of course, from local producers who want us to bring it further on and tell people about their wine. We get all sorts of local food that they want us to taste. So there's a lot of gifts and we've got paintings. People have been painting pictures of our ship based on photographs, and when we arrive, they come with a painting of our ship. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. But again, it tells a little about how many people actually get into what we're doing. And what they are getting back, in my mind, they get stories to tell. They get the opportunity to tell people, I was on that Viking ship. There's crazy Norwegians or whatever they are coming all the way from Norway. And with this ship it's open, they're sleeping on the plank and they barely have a toilet and then they're sailing around year after year. So we give these stories for those to tell who's been with us, and by that they're promoting, the Viking ships and the benefit of ship, what they could do also 1,000 years ago. And of course, everybody on board the ship get insight to the ship, how it's built, how it works, all the things on board that you need. And I think also that most people get a more broad understanding of what are the Vikings and how did they influence Europe, because they always ask, but why are you here? And we tell the story about the trade routes and barbarian stuff, of course, as well, but primarily about the trade routes and the goods that exchange hands in and out of Viking ships back in the days. And of course, we get people to have interest for the Nordic and Tønsberg. They always ask, where are you coming from? And we always tell them we are coming from Tønsberg, the heart of, the area where the Vikings were living in Norway back then. And hopefully that brings some people to come to Norway to have a look at it. And that's one of the things we want to bring back to our city, where we come from. More tourists and more attention to what we're doing. And then we get friends all over Europe. And those visiting us, they get friends on board the ship. And that's mainly what creates the growth of our ship guild, because we meet people, we make friends, and they join us the year after, say, okay, I would like to go with you. And they sign up, they be a part of the guild, and they join the guild to sail forward. When we started 3 years ago, we was barely 100 people in the ship guild, and now we are more than 200. So it's growing based on the voyage itself. So that was a good insight, I think, to that. But seeing is believing, isn't it? So I have brought with me. Hopefully you see now a picture of a lot of people. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. So this is actually the people visiting us in Budapest in 2023. One of our friends had told the newspapers that we'll be in Budapest and the ship will be open from whatever to whatever. It was like this in 7 hours. Thousands of people coming, and we have this small ladder to bring them into the ship. To 10 at a time, and they walked down to the held position, took a selfie with the parliament in the background, and around the cabin and up again, and then the next 10 for hours. And at the same time, we were doing washing down the ship for crew change, and we had local Vikings to visit us with gifts they want to present to us. You see them in the picture here. So it was absolutely amazing. So that's one example of engagement that we see on the route. I can take the next one here. So this is Andorra. That's where we came in just a few days ago, and this is people waiting for us. So it feels like the entire city came down to the dock to welcome the ship, and they were applauding us when we were taking down the sail and putting the ship alongside the pier. These are school kids in Andorra, like the 400 school kids visiting the ship during 2 days, with all those small caps saying Saga Farmland. You know, it's so amazing. But this is what the crew is experiencing. This is the sailing in this is the Mediterranean. This is just outside the coast of Italy, a few days after we left from Civitavecchia. So this is what the crew experienced, being on the sea and sailing like the Vikings did it back in the days. It is quite amazing. And finally, I have a few pictures for you to see as well. This is also in Budapest, but this was a few hours before it was a bit chaotic. This is ambassadors. It's 7 ambassadors in the picture from different countries, all invited by the Norwegian ambassador Trine, who's ambassador to Norway in Hungary. She invited her ambassador friends to a small session on board ship where I was to talk about the Viking ship and the voyage, and answering questions from embassies that has no relation to Vikings, like some of the African states having questions. Of course, they don't understand this concept of Vikings. Quite interesting, actually. Here's a picture of Olga and some Vikings, of course. And then it's an amazing event, actually. The ambassador to Norway in Turkey, he invited for a company gathering for all Norwegian companies and Turkish companies with Norwegian trade to come to the pier. And he got a jazz band. It's actually 2 of the crew members, this singer in the front here, Neville, and one of the guitarists are both crew on board Saga Farmland, and they're professional jazz musicians. So they played music. The ambassador invited 150 businessmen, and they had this gathering for 2-3 hours, using the ship as a stage near to the event. So that's all the embassy people and the musicians. And then from time to time we meet people just coming on board. In this case it was all the Coast Guard people, they didn't arrest us, but they told us that we were doing stuff wrong. But after they told us and was very angry, they came on board for a photo. So they're also kind, for sure. And this is in Croatia, one of those open days where the kids coming on board, having a look at our Viking knives and weapons and stuff like that on board the ship, asking questions, looking at what we're doing, climbing around in the rig and having a fantastic time. And in that way, learn a little about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So that was actually all I want to say. I hope I held myself within the time frame. Thank you.